Okay, hello guys, welcome to the episode 2 of the Indian Football Casuals. Today we have Samar Pathania, our
Hello.
newest guest, and obviously the usual Rutvij Joshi. Uh, Today we will be going through the Durand Cup for this season, and we will go through all the groups and teams. We'll try to get through all the groups and teams, and we will also discuss what's happening in the I League, like what is the situation with the new teams. Like we have some news around that. So I will go straight to Summer. Let's go to the Durand Cup first. Let's hear what Summer has
Okay.
to say about the upcoming season.
I'm very excited about the upcoming season, obviously, because we have some new teams. Obviously, I want to see Mumbai do better than last season as a Mumbai fan. But overall, as an Indian football fan, I'm very excited to see a couple of new teams, not only the foreign teams, but even the Indian teams. Obviously, the big one, Shillong Lajong is back, and there's a lot of noise about that. And second is Downtown Heroes because they've been doing a lot of good stuff back in Kashmir, and we have been trying for a long time to actually get back on the scene. So I'm very excited to see them, Abhi. So yeah, as a season, I think it's going to be even more interesting than the last one, and it's just building on every season, which is very good to see.
I think the best thing they did was that I think they have tried to expand the tournament. Like we have a new venue in
Yeah, they have.
Kokrajhar. Like it's a very random place, like from a Indian, like from larger perspective. But I think it's great that smaller towns will also have access to the best teams in India. I think that's gonna be great.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited to see the new venue. Let's go across to Rutvij and ask him tell us about the groups. Like which group do you think is the easiest? Which is the toughest group? Which is the group of death? And just let us just let us through all the groups in the cup.
So first and foremost, thank you, Sayak, and you can see me in my goggles out there. That's because I have conjunctivitis. So moving
Yeah.
on for the groups and stuff, uh, I guess when you look at Group A, I'll go group wise and discuss very individually. You see, in the Group A, the first game is between Bangladesh Army and the East Bengal and Mohan Bagan Super Jets, which is scheduled to take place tomorrow. The other teams in the groups are East Bengal and Punjab FC. I honestly see uh, East Mohan Bagan and East Bengal to go through, but you cannot say Punjab FC are playing their full strength squad, and Mohan Bagan and East Bengal is playing their full strength squad, but Mohan Bagan is a mix of a youth team and a couple of foreigners on their ranks. So I believe it will be a tight group. I don't see anyone favorites there, but in terms of experience, when you talk about it, it's Punjab who will have the experience. They started their pre-season 3 weeks back in Kolkata, so they are very well prepared for it. Uh, let's see how the tournament pans out for them because they've chopped and changed because they've got into the ISL, they've signed few new players, they've retained the old players. So it is going to be an exciting group for us. For Group B, it will be uh, it is Indian Navy, Jamshedpur FC, Mohammedan and Mumbai City. So again, two ISL clubs in the group and the home side in Mohammedan. Mohammedan also is playing their full strength squad, and so is Mumbai City. And to be honest, even if I am not sure whether Jamshedpur is playing their full strength squad, but I don't see. I think Mohammedan and Mumbai will find it easier to go through because Jamshedpur I'm not sure because their signings, their domestic signings, their international signings have all been underwhelming. So I don't expect Jamshedpur to qualify from the group. But let's see. My favorites are to go through are Mohammedan and Mumbai City in no particular order. Group C.
Okay.
Group C
Okay.
is
We will go to the groups later. Let's keep rotating, right? About Group B, I think Mohammedan will have an advantage. I think uh, they will be playing in Solid Stadium, and I think Mohammedan fans are pretty pumped up. Like they are banging goals in CFL.
Yeah.
I think that home advantage will be there. About East Bengal and Mohun Bagan, I think those fans are inclined towards ISL. But Durand Cup will be a big thing for Mohammedan, especially because they will be an I League side looking to make some marks, and with home support they will be hoping to do something extra there. About the Durand Cup, usual like last season, many of the teams played their first teams, right? But this time,
Yeah.
like I have a feeling it's a bit underwhelming, and with all the AFC 123 qualifiers coming up, the teams might not be full strength as well if they decide to release these players. So, Samar, tell me how beneficial Durand Cup is and how exciting, how ideal it is as a preseason tournament for teams to fix up their strategies and teams.
Yeah, I think ideally it's a great tournament to have because it's very prestigious and it's very important. So it's a very ideal tournament to put at the start because because of its reputation, there is a lot of fan pressure for the ISL teams, especially to take it seriously, to send the full squad. They expect the fans expect to win it, even if it's a pre-season tournament. A lot of the fans don't exactly see it, and there's a lot of prestige that comes with it. So I think it's a very good tournament to have. But I feel like fan pressure isn't there yet. I know personally there are a lot of clubs that haven't even begun training properly yet. There are a lot of clubs that haven't sent their full squad. They haven't got their affairs in order. So even though it should be a very good sort of tournament to begin things with, it's getting there. Last year there was a lot more hype because ISL teams. It was the first ever season, so there was a lot of hype. But right now I think it's starting to normalize a bit, and I hope that teams start to take it more responsibly.
Yeah, the best thing they did was that they included Durand Cup as official games for the AFC. For
Yeah.
these games will be counted as the minimum amount of games, that is 27, I
Okay.
think. So
Yeah.
that makes it a bit bigger. It will count eventually. Though I think Durand Cup can be made into a better format as well. I think keeping it localized to East India. Well, there is a new venue, but I think if they do manage to have enough funds to make it home away, or at least have it across the country, like keep one group for North India, one for East, one for South, one for West. That would be
Yeah.
better. Let's hop back into the groups here with which you can proceed with the next two groups. I think Group C and Group D.
with Group C, you have Bengaluru FC, Gokulam Kerala, and Kerala Blasters and Indian Air Force team. Uh, with Gokulam Kerala, they've also started their preparation well. They've signed a new they've signed a coach, and they've signed a couple of Spanish players of their rank, one of which has played the Segunda division last season. With Bengaluru, you see that there are so many summer incomings and outgoings going in, and same with Kerala Blasters, who will be missing their star player in Sahal. So it will be an interesting group for me. I expect any of the three sides to go through. I mean, I don't pick up favorite here. Uh, Gokulam Gokulam also can put up a good fight and can uh, can go forward. Same with Kerala Blasters and Bengaluru FC, and it will be interesting to see which of the three teams mess out for the quarterfinals. Uh, Group
What
D
about what
is
about what
Downtown
about the
Heroes.
yeah? Which what about the whole Bengaluru Kerala facing again after what happened in ISL with Chetri scoring a free kick and getting Kerala Blasters fined 10 crores. So what about the entire equation? Like,
It will be
do we?
it will be it will be interesting because you know what happened during the last game between Kerala Blasters and uh, Bengaluru FC. They'll play against each other. I know. I think the players will be calm, but the rivalry between the fans will be something that will excite the
And
neutrals and the Indian football fans.
yeah, and I
Yeah,
think they have tried to amplify the rivalry as much as possible by including Gokulam Kerala with Kerala Blasters as well. Like that, like the student community is trying something. Like let's see if that works out. Let's go back to Samar for a while. Like Samar has been working in Indian football in terms of coaching and everything in depth. So let's ask him like, suppose you are a team which really does not have the firepower to fight the big boys. Like suppose you are a club like Downtown Heroes or Bodoland FC, but you have Mumbai City or Mohun Bagan up front. So how do you approach such a game where you are clearly the underdogs and you don't have the resources to win a game? So how do you approach? Like, how should these teams approach this tournament, especially because it's a cup tournament? One or two results can really change your fortune. So how should teams approach
Hmm.
the bigger games?
I think again I don't have a lot of first team experience, so I've led a lot of teams, like led a senior team for a lot of long time, and I have a lot of respect for the coaches who have. So I can't really speak for them or how the professionals would really do it. But from my experience and what I've seen, the best I can answer is I think again it depends on coach to coach, depends on situation to situation. Now it is a cup game, and cup games are notorious to get for where teams underdogs get away with results. So if I'm like a downtown hero, and I'm let's say one of the Navy teams, they are great teams, but they don't play on the regular, so they're always counted as the underdog. So I feel like me as a player, I would give my 100% because that is a game where I'm on display. That is a game where I'm on the spotlight. So for me, as a coach, I would set up my team not to win, but the team that gives me the best chance of making sure that I come away with the result. If that means whether I press them, if that means I play the lowest block, if that means I play 11 people in front of goal, doesn't matter. I think my tactic or my sort of my mindset would be that I try to come up with a result. I love playing spoil sport, so I would try my best to make sure that I'm not a walkover, but I'm a hindrance in the other big team.
Yeah, especially like team just have three games. Like if you manage one win and one draw,
Yeah,
somehow you are in the reckoning to finish top three and somehow might make it the
exactly.
knockouts. Okay, with which you can go ahead with Group D and also tell us something about Downtown Heroes as well. Like since you
Yeah.
are into the club.
see with Downtown FC were registered with the AIFF in the year 2020 and they played the Kashmir League in the 2021 edition. They finished third in the 8 team league. They were just behind J&K Bank and Hyderabad FC. J&K Bank, as you all know, is a government entity, so they cannot play the second division. They cannot name themselves for the second division. Uh, uh, Second division. Uh, what do you say? You cannot play them for second division. So Hyderabad FC was given a chance, and I'm told that Hyderabad didn't want to play because they had some financial issues with them, and so it gave chance to Downtown Heroes FC. And with Downtown Heroes FC, what I know is the founder of the club, the owner of the club, is an IT professional. He owns a business in US and in Kashmir. He has worked in IBM and various other tech giants in US. So he knows what he's up to. He knows the vision of the club. They've hired Hilal Rasul Parre as the head coach. He he has worked with J&K Bank Lone Star Kashmir in Kashmir football, so he's well-known figure over there. So downtown are a serious club from uh, Kashmir in the second in the recently concluded hello yeah recently concluded second division league. You can see them beating the likes of Delhi FC in the group stages. So they are a serious club, and for the uh, Durand Cup as well, they'll have the best of Kashmiri players. So you expect them to do something in this group, and other teams in the group include FC Goa, Northeast United, and Shillong Lansong. So it will be an interesting group. I mean, there is no pushover teams in this group. You know, Shillong has had started their preparation quite early, as well as Northeast United FC. So there are no bogey teams in this group. All the four teams have in them to go ahead, but if I had to choose two teams, it will be FC Goa and Northeast United FC.
Okay.
Uh,
Um, yeah. So let's before jumping into Group E, let's get back to Summer again. Like Summer, you have been closely working with Minerva Academy, right? Like before
Yeah,
going
I did
to
for 1 year.
yeah. Since we have Delhi SC in the in Group E, just tell me how the entire Minerva experience was like, so that we can get an insight on how Delhi FC as a club also works, because I think both of them are pretty closely associated because we are the same poster and everything. So let's understand how things at Minerva work and
Yeah.
what how is the culture around there. So
I mean, I think it's very difficult to actually separate the two. If you work for Minerva, you work for Delhi. If you work for Delhi, you work for Minerva. There's no other way around it. Even on the coaches' jerseys that we would get, we had both the Minerva and Delhi logos because we were made sure to know that we work for both of them. So the culture in terms of football, there's always a lot of positive sort of outlook. They always want to win, that's for sure. You cannot ever fault Minerva for saying, you can't ever say that they don't want to win. They have that mentality where they always want to win. Some would say to the point where it becomes harmful, it becomes dangerous, and becomes counterintuitive. But that's another conversation. So they always want to win, and obviously they tried last year with the ID2 and they were unsuccessful. And I remember being there because I was there a coach where I was able to see everything, witness everything firsthand. I know, and I was very surprised how well the management took the loss. It was a very hard loss to take, but they took it very well. There weren't a lot of blaming, shouting, but they were just basically, you know, they understood the circumstances, and that was something I was very surprised about. And I think that is a huge factor in how they were able to bounce back up and actually go ahead and win this year. They didn't make a lot of changes. They stuck with Surinder Singh, who was the head coach at that time as well. They had that abrupt management change with Jan Law sir going away, staying with Aizawl. So despite that, they did really well last season, and this year with continuity, they've done even better. But I know that Surinder sir does prefer being more of a technical director than a head coach, at least from what I've seen. So it is a good move to bring Jan Law sir back. The team is very familiar with how he plays because it is in tandem with how Ranjit Bajaj sir also wants, understanding of how the structure of the team is, how the rotations happen, how the team plays. So I expect a lot of that to go ahead, and I do expect them to be a much more credible threat this year and go even further, or at least play a lot better in terms of complete output.
excellent, excellent. We are sure Delhi will put the fight, especially because it's a pretty competitive group. We have Chennai and Delhi, Hyderabad and Nepal Army. So, Rutvij, you can go ahead with your
Yeah.
predictions for the group as well.
uh, what I do know about this group is Hyderabad FC will have a good team, will have a good side for this tournament. I am not sure about uh, whether Chennai will play their first team. I'm unsure about it. With Delhi, they've started their practice and uh, uh, this thing. So I don't know whether Chennai is playing their first team. They brought in Owen Coyle back, so things are expected to be well this season for Chennai. Although they've lost Thapa to ATK Mohan Bagan, but I guess Chennai will do well in the Durand Cup. So I expect Chennai in and Delhi to go through. Maybe Hyderabad miss out. Maybe Chennai miss out. But I expect Delhi to go through
God,
for
that's a
sure.
very brave prediction. Okay. Uh, Before going to Group F, which would you like to throw some light on what the club Motherland FC is all about? Like it's a new club.
Oh,
Like not many of us know about it. So if you can, enlighten us about it.
Bodoland is basically they've registered themselves with uh, AIFF last year. They after their registration, they last year in October they played ISPL, that is Inter Six Schedule Premier League football tournament. That is uh, a tournament organized by the clubs of the region, which in which the sixth schedule uh, is eligible. I mean, Bodoland area. I mean, you can name it. The tribal regions in northeast, the tribal regions in even Jammu and Kashmir. So schedule is the autonomy state of government where certain areas, certain districts are given autonomy to frame their own laws and protect the tribe and the culture of the uh, entire tribe. So Bodoland FC, which includes the four western districts of Assam, that is Kokrajhar, Baksha, uh, uh, and another two, which I just a minute, it will take 2 minutes. I mean, four
Yeah, yeah,
districts
sure, sure.
which are part of this uh, Bodoland
Autonomous country.
Bodoland region. So they and also they've signed Rakesh Pradhan for this thing, the former Northeast United fullback. They will also play some. They will also sign some foreigners who have experience in uh, playing in India. So, and they've started their preparation 2 months back. So, with I, they are inexperienced for sure, but with 2 months of their some clubs have started their preparation 2 3 weeks before, but they've started pretty early their preparation. So I believe Bodoland will not be a walkover for any teams. For Odisha and Rajasthan United, and with Odisha playing their second team, not their reserve team, you can sense that Bodoland can make a mark. And also, don't forget they will be playing in their home ground in Kokrajhar in the SAI Stadium. So, and Bodos come and support their local team. So, you expect pretty big things from Bodoland, and my my thoughts would be Rajasthan United will be clear favorites to go through because they've also started their preparation a month ago. They've called all their players back from the ISL who were on loan. They uh, like Hardik Patel, probably Samar knows him well. He played in ISL last time in the second half of the season.
Yeah.
So they'll be with they'll be well equipped with and they'll be well aware about what is to expect from the group. And I expect Rajasthan United to go through. And second favorite would be Bodoland. I hope Bodoland goes through so that the region uh, develops their football and maybe who knows 5 years 10 years down the line we may see uh, a national team player from the area.
Yeah, one
So
thing
that's
I'm absolute fan of is that Indian football needs more community clubs, right? The Northeast as a region is extremely diverse. Like they have hundreds of tribes, like languages and customs change every village. So for a region like Northeast, having just a single club in Northeast United makes no sense to me. So we need more tribal and traditional clubs from Northeast to come up so that everyone has a representation and it's a diverse region and it's also a footballing hotbed. So there is no reason that we should stick to only one team from the region. That's 7 states. That's huge. So I think the clubs like Boduland will must do well, especially because they're playing at home. Kokrajhar is a fanatic place for Bodo activism and nationalism as well. So then the support is gonna be huge, and that's gonna be great for Indian
Yeah.
football because Indian football by nature is extremely expanding. Like we have so many community clubs coming up slowly with Namdhari entering I League. We have another community centric club coming up. I think that's even greater news for Indian football. So before we go to the I League, let's
Yeah.
hear it out from Samar because he is a Mumbai City FC fan. Samar, tell us everything about Mumbai City FC. Like how is the preseason going on, and what should we expect from this season because you guys are defending champions, right? The real champions.
Yeah.
So
No.
what should we expect from Mumbai City?
Look, I think what we should expect from Mumbai City is what every Mumbai fan is expecting from Mumbai City, which is a complete strong team. We need to go out there and play our best. It's not just a preseason; it's almost the second phase of preseason for Mumbai. It's the time where clubs stop focusing more on only fitness and start working on the technicalities of things and everything. And being in Thailand for 2.5 weeks has been really helpful. They played I think 3 or 4 friendlies, if not five, if I'm not sure, and I think they won 4 out of 5 of them. Again, preseason results don't really matter that much in terms of how good a team is going to be, but it is a very good positive sign. There haven't been a lot of chops and changes. Everything's been very settled in terms of the Indian core. Again, losing Ahmed Jahu is a big thing. But I think overall Mumbai has done very well to replace most of the players that have gone. Brought in additions in spots where you very clearly needed addition, and I completely expect them to go out there and make the finals again, if not lift the championship this time, the trophy.
Samara, one question from my end. You've
Yeah.
signed Akash Mishra for a very hefty amount. 80K Mohan Bagan was in a free. Even Bengaluru FC
Yeah.
were at some point interested in him.
Some point,
So
yes.
you know that they yeah, you know at some point that they will be playing the Asian Games and they might also play the under 23 qualifiers. So
Hmm.
what do you think? Because he'll join the camp. He'll leave for the national team. So he'll not be settled. I mean, he's in new team. He's come with big money signing. So what do you think? I mean, uh, how well? I mean, the first season when you look at it, if
Hmm.
if Akash Mishra does not work out, then what is the plan B for Mumbai City?
Hmm. Um, I think it's a good question if Akash Mishra doesn't work out, but I think that is a big reason why he's such a big money signing, and why most Indian players right now who are very highly touted and highly hyped these aren't very flashy players. If you notice, most of these players who are like genuinely good and considered to be genuinely an asset are players who are technically very solid. They are, they have the foundations very well. That's why the signing of Halen Nongtu also made so much sense, and it's such a good signing. He's not an Anwar Ali in passing and everything, but he's a very good technical player. And I think same is with Akash Mishra. He does his basics very well. He does what he does very well, and he's been doing it continuously and becoming better and better and better and adding more to his game for the past 3 years. So I don't think he's not going to work out. But on the off chance, touch wood, God forbid, he doesn't work out. Um, you know, there is another very very good fullback in the team in Naucha Singh, who's there. I don't know what the plan is with him right now, but Rudram Naucha Singh is one of my favorite fullbacks. Has been for the past. I think maybe two I leagues, half that ISL season in East Bengal. I thought he did very well, and I was very surprised to see him go on loan next season again. He was always my first. If you do not get Akash Mishra, he was always my player. So I still think that is the plan B. But again, it is a very, very flimsy, not flimsy, but I think weak plan B because there's no plan C or there's no one who's going to be a backup to him unless you play Sanjeev Stalin on left back, which right now I don't think should be the plan or. So yeah, I think that is what Mumbai should be preparing for.
Samar, you backed Mahesh Singh even before he rose to prominence at East Bengal, and now he is like, I think top five players for India right now. Uh, tell
Yeah.
me from your scouting book, who should we start backing? Who is not the star right now? Like, who is the next Mahesh Singh for you? If I'm putting it right.
That is a there are a couple of players that I have been looking at. I mean, again, it's very, very, very top. And again, I don't know if I got lucky with Mahesh Singh. Maybe he was just so good, so it was sort of baffling for me how people missed his signing, or how Kerala missed on keeping him in their team. But there are a couple of players that I'm very excited to see. There's one in Rajasthan United called Raghav Gupta, this Kashmiri defensive midfielder. He's very raw talent right now, 22 years old. But what I've seen from him in terms of technicality and game sense is something that I'm very impressed about. Raghav Gupta is one of them. Another one is a former Hyderabad man in Abhishek Haldar, who's currently playing in Mohammedan. You know, I I think he's becoming a very solid player for Mohammedan, and I think what he's been doing in the past year has been very prominent. I think people ought to be looking at him a lot more. And my third player would be maybe Rosenberg Fernandez. I hope I said his name right. From Srinidhi Deccan. He's this Mumbai-born winger. I think he does very well. He plays on the left. He plays on the right. Left footer. So I think he's one to look out for. But again, he's a very very raw talent right now. You can see his physique's not there. You can see some of his game is not there. It's still very raw. But I do think these three players. Again, for me, I don't know, but Mahesh was a different level. I don't know if these guys are there yet, and especially because two of them are defensive midfielders, they'll never be as flashy as Mahesh. So no one will ever be as impressed. But I do think these guys are players that I am currently very excited to see and looking forward to in the next
Hopefully, all the scouts will come back to this video and have a look what someone has to
season.
say.
Yeah.
Going back to Durand Cup, yeah, going back to Durand Cup, let me put my predictions as well. I'll keep it short. I will just name who I think will top the respective groups. From Group A, I think Mohun Bagan sadly will top the group, but hopefully East Bengal do put up a fight and sneak into second place. Uh, from Group B, I think Mumbai City is an obvious favorite, but I think Mohammedan should put up a fight. But I will put Mumbai City up, up like slightly ahead. Group C, a very interesting group. I think all three teams are in reckoning for top place, but I think I have a feeling Gokulam Kerala might sneak ahead because I have seen them perform really good in all these preseason cup tournaments. So I think they will be
Yeah.
pretty pumped up. For Group D, I think since all teams have started training just right now, so it's gonna be very close. I will be hoping one of downtown heroes of Sri Lanka can go through, but I think common sense tells me FC Goa it is.
Yeah.
I think that's what is gonna happen. From Group E again, I think it's either Delhi or Chennai, but I would be keeping Chennai ahead. I think they are pretty pumped up with Owen Kowal coming in, so I think they will be hoping to have a have a good positive start to the season before just jumping into ISL. From Group F, I think it's gonna be again very close since Bodoland will be playing at home. Odisha, Rajasthan also having started training just now. I think Odisha started training from today itself, so they will be fielding a second team, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be very close. I think Rajasthan United might go through just by a few points. What about Samar? Summer, what are your predictions for each of the groups?
Yeah. I think. Yeah, I think I agree with all of them. Yeah, actually I do. Again, Group C is one where I. It's not a group of death, but I think it's the one that probably would be the most closely contested for the top two spots. But yeah, again, I do agree with your predictions. So I'm not. I think yeah.
Excellent. Okay, I think that's all for Durand Cup for today. Let's see how the matches happen. Tomorrow Mohun Bagan plays Bangladesh Army, so let's see what happens. Like those two teams are like miles apart in terms of quality. Like Bangladesh Army, I think it's a military team, but
Yeah.
again, it's Bangladesh Army, so we don't hope expect much from them. So let's hop on to I League for now. Which tell us tell us what's happening in I League. What are the five new teams and why we might have possible bad news from Bengaluru and Delhi.
So, as you all, as everyone would be aware, the five teams are Interca. The cities I'll name it. The first is Varanasi, the Interkashi. Interkashi have probably started signing players, domestic players. They've named Arata Izumi as their assistant coach. They have a head coach in Carlos Santa Marina who has worked with Jamshedpur FC for a year now. Sorry, not for a year. Yes, for a year in 2016 season, in their second season, I believe. He was the head coach.
Yeah.
So yeah, they've got their Atletico core back with Carlos Santamarina. Expect them to sign a few Spanish players as well. Yesterday they made the signing of Peter Hartley official. Peter Hartley may not be a good defender on ISL level, but when you look at the I League, he'll be a solid addition for a team which will play their first season and probably their financial pull is so much that they might even go and win the I League in their first season. Who knows? But I'm very hopeful for them doing well. They they've got the guys who know how the football works, how Indian football works, and how and what they've got the vision in front of them. They know what to do. We probably a week or so or next 10-15 days will know lot about Intercashi because they'll make their signings official and then they'll probably sign their start their preseason as well. So yes, quite excited for Intercashi. The second team is from Punjab, that is Namdhari. Namdhari also have started their Namdhari sports is actually we are revealing here is Harpreet Singh exclusively revealing here. No one has done it, but we are doing it here. The head coach is Harpreet Singh. I guess Samar would know him because he has worked in Minerva before. I don't know if he was there during your period,
Yeah.
but he was there
No, no,
and
no.
he's he's currently a AFC B license holder. And what I might be wrong, but what I've heard is he has completed the first module of his A license. And for the viewers who don't know, A license is the minimum requirement for a coach or for a head coach to take India League. So I guess Harpreet will finish his A license before the season commences. I I was told that his A license will be done, so no problems over there. They've signed some good local players from local leagues. They've signed players who have played second division last season, who have played some good states league. So they are also, I mean, they are not as, I mean, what people expect Interkashi to do. They will not be such a big thing in Indian football right now. But they are, yes, they are slowly making their mark up, and little by little you'll find it out in next days about the club and about their pre-season and stuff. So probably a week or so, and we might know more about them. And other three sites were Bunker Hill from Ambala, TVS Jindal Poly from Delhi, and FCBU from Bengaluru. Uh, all the three teams, of what I know is, of probably everyone knows that uh, they they are most likely to pull out their bids. Uh, all of them have a separate, they have their own reasons. Starting with Bunker Hill. Bunker Hill, you know that they have a uh, uh, this thing. They have a tie-up with Mohammedan FC, so probably they won't fill the I League. They won't fill the I League spot. They will not compete with Mohammed. So I expect them to play in the Haryana League, I believe, and then they'll play the second division, and then they'll come up. As of now, what I'm hearing is they'll play the state league, and then they'll come up. So yeah, Bunker Hill is down with FCBU. FCBU and Delhi. The thing is, they were actually their tier. Those were the two bids from the tier one cities. So tier one cities had to pay 5 crore as an entrance fee to the AIFF, and following that every year they had to pay 2.5 crore for their participation fee for 4 years. So 15 crore was was the was the amount FCBU and the Delhi, the Jindal and TPS outfit had to pay. And I believe 15 crore was something that they were unwilling to pay. They thought they might negotiate with the AIFF, and they could have got through with a lesser amount, but it was unfortunately not the case. So with paying 15 crore amount upfront was no way feasible for both the tier one teams. So that's the reason. That's the primary reason they've closed down their bids for the I League. And for the TBS, FCBU will play in the Bengaluru League. Bengaluru League is going on. They are playing over there. They might as well try for next season for the I League second division, and then they'll again go for the I League spot from the second division. But TBS outfit, we can. I think the project is closed for them because, as I've said, that they had to pay 15 crore rupees and they were not willing to do so. Uh, in fact, what I know is the Jindals were interested in building the infrastructure in Delhi. They have this huge land area in central Delhi where they wanted to build their academies and stuff and start from very scratch. They were ready for that, but paying 15 crore to AIFF was not economically feasible for them. I mean, that made no sense because what I know is they envisioned their finances and they said that for 15 years they won't find any profit in Indian football. So they thought that not to take up the idea at all and close the formalities and close the project. It it is something that I know. They also tried for Delhi football. They said we will play the Delhi league, but also the participation fee over there was also an issue for them. This is what I know. So they've just shut their project down. And yes, there's only two teams that will be participating from the five who have bid for the direct sports, and there are two teams who will be promoted, which is Delhi FC and Shillong Lajoo.
Right, right, right. Fantastic insight from Rutvij. Uh, I think Indian football has a lot of red tape when it comes to state associations, and Football Delhi has been going on for a lot since the last few years. Like since Anuj is in control of Sudeva, but is also in control of Football Delhi. So there is a direct conflict of interest, to be very honest. So I think that that's the problem there, and I think India needs more and more North Indian clubs. Like we are a bit concentrated down south. There are lot of South Indian clubs. There are lots of East Indian clubs, but up north, I think we only had Real Kashmir up until the last season. Then we had Rounders Punjab coming in.
Yeah.
Then we now also have Interkashi coming in, and then Namdari Sports. I think Namdari Sports is another uh, community-based club because they were basically a group of Sikhs, like it's a community of Sikhs who were based in former part of India, that is in Pakistan right now. Like they were refugees who came into India, and the community thrived on promoting themselves through sport. Like they opened a hockey sports club, like right after India's brilliant run in Olympics. So this started as a hockey club. I think in 1980s or 90s. Then they have been expanding to football. I think they're gonna promote lot of their own Namdari boys, which is gonna be great because we need more community clubs. So that's gonna be amazing. They also have their own infrastructure. They also have their own stadium. So that's a plus point. People get to see new infrastructure as well. And about Interkashi, I think that's a brilliant thing for UP football as well because as we know, UP uh, is a state with huge potential. We already have Akash Mishra and Nishu Kumar playing in the top of Indian football, so they do have the ability to produce players. With Interkashi coming in, I think that would be great, especially because they are playing from Varanasi, which is like the spiritual home of the Hindus. I think that's going to attract a lot of people to support the club, and they also have Atletico Madrid as their I think as a consultant. So that's going to work a lot better with them. Only thing I hope is that they do play in Varanasi because if they don't play in Varanasi, I think that's gonna be a chance missed because they do have a stadium. They call Sigra Stadium. I think it's under construction. So if they get to play from Varanasi, and since they are marketing and promoting the club uh, quite a lot, I think that's gonna be a great thing for UP as well. As far as the Bengaluru is concerned, I think Bengaluru United, like they are a club who have been doing well in the lower divisions. Like they had Richard Hood, and they consistently do good in the lower division. So I
Okay,
think
and
that's a
sorry,
club.
sorry, I'll interrupt. Richard Wood
Yeah,
was part of FCBU, is not a part of FCBU anymore.
yeah.
Uh,
Sorry. So
yeah,
yeah, he was part of the club. So I think they always have shown that they are a bunch who want to get promoted. So I think if not through bidding, I think eventually they will make their way to the I League because they do
Yeah.
consistently perform well. So and about Bunker Hill, I think they should stick with Mohammedan. Like they have doing really well in CFL, and if they do manage to do something good in I League, they have a huge fan base. Like a Mohammedan fan base is kind of underrated. we don't see them much in mainstream Indian football because they are not part of the ISL, and did not they were not part of I League as well for many years. They were in the second division, so they did not get much of the opportunities to to showcase their fan power. So if they do well, Bunker Hill is there to on the marketing, on the benefits of such a huge fan base. So before we wrap up for today, we should talk about the two new entries. Like, not exactly new. We have been following these two
Yeah.
teams for a while. Shillong Lajong, the old boy of Indian football, they are finally back. They have a fantastic fan base, a fantastic fan culture. With Delhi FC, we already talked about Delhi FC. So, Samar, let's go back to you. Like, can you just tell us uh, about these two teams, Shillong Lajong and Delhi FC, and what should we expect from them in the upcoming I League season?
I think what you get is identity, and I think what you get is a lot of drama that is bound to come with any Minerva associated team. I think in I League there is a lot of potential for firepower and there's a lot of potential for marketing, but I don't think there's any like sort of identity which is very widespread, which is very commonly known in Indian football, even to the casuals. But I think when you talk about Delhi FC and when you hear about Ranjit Bajaj back in I League, I think that brings back a certain amount of marketing flair that I League was missing since Mohan Bagan and East Bengal left for ISL. I think they needed that draw, they needed that sort of character to be, that will get a lot of views, that makes news, headlines for good reasons, for bad reasons, doesn't matter. So I think that is one big thing that you expect from Delhi FC, which is a lot of renewed rivalries, renewed drama, some old faces, familiar faces. And then with Shillong Lajong, obviously what you're getting back is not only nostalgia, but it's bringing back the sense that Indian football is recovering slowly and slowly. With all the new teams coming in, especially teams with identity, they have this religious identity with Namdhari. I remember when Namdhari used to play against Minerva, there was no heat on the pitch when Namdhari used to play against Delhi. So you're bringing that. There is a certain amount of rivalry between Namdhari and Delhi, which will be an incredible thing to see because they don't forget and they know that there is a rivalry. And with Shillong, obviously, coming back, they'll have a big point to prove, especially to the newer teams. Not the newer teams, so the Northeast teams, that they need to bring back their foothold as the top team or at least one of the bigger names again in Northeast. So I think you're getting two teams, you're getting teams that are going to be bringing a lot of marketing draw and firepower that, if used correctly, could again help I League teams be launched into a better marketing sort of atmosphere.
Samar,
Shillong
I have a
Lajong,
question for you. Okay,
yeah,
sorry.
please, please.
Samar, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
The coach, as I mentioned, that Harpreet Singh will be the new head coach for Namdari. You probably know him. So, what is he like? What is he like as a coach, as a person? Some insights which you can share with
No,
us.
actually, very unfortunately, I wasn't lucky enough to work with him or even interact with him. I think I joined after he had left already. But the only sort of insight I can give you about Namdhari is how they are as an identity. Um, I remember when we were facing Namdhari, all of us coaches were at the side and we were watching the match with a lot of interest. And I remember they had this spiritual leader who's I think the head of the Namdhari team. He came in first, and there was this huge line of people who were following him. So it was very clearly that he was a very important person. And I remember that even though he was like the spiritual figure, he's almost like the Pope or, the Pope equivalent for the Namdhari community. He is their sort of spiritual leader. To have that sort of interest in sports where your team is coming in and the team, you don't expect them to be all religious and pure and pious. They were there to win, they were there to cause carnage and damage. And I know for a fact that identity for Namdhari is not going to change, despite Mr. Harpreet Singh, sorry, who I wasn't able to sort of work with. But yeah, I do know that that is not going to change for sure.
Right, right.
Brilliant,
Thank
brilliant.
you, Samar.
So lots of things to look forward in the I League. Like I think they have expanded brilliantly in the last few years. Like we have clubs everywhere. Hopefully we
Yeah.
have clubs from Central India and Gujarat eventually. So that will complete the map of India for me at least. I think that is all for today. We have pretty much covered all the parts we were supposed to cover. So guys, thank you for joining in. Thank you Rutvij. Thank you Samar for bringing time out of your schedule. And
Thank
I
you so much
think
for
we will
having me.
again, yeah, obviously, and it's been a pleasure. Hopefully, we'll again tune back as the games go on, and we will discuss what all happens in the next 2 weeks. So, okay, guys, good night. Thank you for joining in.